I told you so. If you were watching the NBA Summer League, you may have spotted a familiar face on the sidelines wearing a hat with a very interesting slogan. Now, back in 2017, LeVar Ball was making his name in the media world by going to the biggest shows in the country and making some outrageous statements.
And then you talking about you gonna beat Michael Jordan?
Michael
how you
Jordan.
Do that?
How you gonna beat me? How's he gonna beat me?
Why are you saying stuff like
Tell
this?
me how's he gonna beat me?
Why are you doing this? Why are you? Is this another marketing tool of yours?
Check this out.
Now, whilst his claims of being able to beat Michael Jordan one-on-one may not prove to be true, a few of his other claims have proven to be true. First of all, his eldest son, Lonzo, got drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers and has become a great NBA point guard on both ends of the court. His youngest son, LaMelo, won the Rookie of the Year award last year and impressed everyone in the NBA despite multiple scouts questioning his ability given that he didn't play in college and instead played in Lithuania and then Australia. But LeVar does have one more prophecy, and it involves the middle child, LiAngelo Ball.
You used to say, I just want them all playing together. And I said,
I still do.
That is absurd.
It's going to happen.
It is not going to happen.
I guarantee you. When it do, I'll be back over here and let you know. I guarantee it happens, though.
Well, we're going to have, that's, okay. That we'll
trust and believe.
Can LiAngelo Ball make an NBA roster? And will we ever see the three Ball brothers together on the same team? Wagwan people, it's your boy Mo, aka The Hoop Genius, back with another video. I know I took a few days off, but as you can see from the intro, the level is going up. The quality of the videos is rising. The effort, the energy, the expertise, everything going into them is getting better and better. So stay with me because today we're looking at LiAngelo Ball. Can he join his brothers in the NBA? He had a great Summer League performance for the Charlotte Hornets team. Can he make their roster? In this video, we're going to be looking at the current roster situation, if they're even going to have space for him. We're going to have a look at some of his stats from the Summer League and break those down. And then I'm going to dive into the film. We're going to study the gameplay footage of LiAngelo Ball at the Summer League to see if he can make it as an NBA player. So I need to know from you guys right now, do you think LiAngelo Ball can make it in the NBA? Put a thumbs up on this video if you think yes. If you think no, watch this whole video. It might change your mind, and then put a thumbs up because you will have watched the whole thing. As always, please subscribe guys because this video contains footage of NBA games, so I won't make any money out of it. So if you could subscribe and maybe leave a comment if you like what you see, that would help me out loads. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so this is the Charlotte Hornets current roster. Now, NBA teams can have 15 players on their roster and 2 players who are on two-way deals, meaning they go between the G League and their NBA team. Right now, if we're looking at the squad, there are 12 guys who are pretty much locks to make it. You know, there's no way that these guys aren't on the team to start the season unless they're traded. So that leaves 3 remaining roster spots. And of course, the Hornets recently signed Cool Boca and Scotty Lewis to two-way deals, so they're out of the equation. What we have now is 3 remaining roster spots and 5 players currently on the team who are trying to make them. Add LiAngelo Ball to the mix, and that's 6 players trying to make it onto the roster. So out of these 5 players currently circled on the roster, there are 2 that I think they're definitely going to keep. The first being Jalen McDaniels, who is a 23-year-old that they drafted in 2019. He was on a two-way deal, but it got converted to an actual deal. So I think they're going to keep him there, and he gives them some depth at that forward position. And the second one being Nick Richards. Back at the 2020 NBA draft, Richards was selected by the Pelicans, 42nd overall, and immediately traded to the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for a second-round pick in 2024. So I don't think they're going to give up on him either. And then we have Wes Iwundu, who came over to the squad in the Devontae Graham sign and trade from the New Orleans Pelicans. So I don't think that they're going to be able to cut him off the roster either, especially to replace him with an unproven player. He's got a lot of NBA experience, so I think he's going to be valuable to this team. So then, Cody Martin. He already has chemistry with the current roster from being there before. His twin, Caleb, was recently cut from the team though, and in my opinion, he is a better defender than LiAngelo. But like we said before, there's only 15 spots, 12 of those guys are definitely going to be there, so I don't know if Martin makes the roster either, and I don't think Carton makes the roster as well. So it's looking like it's going to be very difficult for Jello to get onto the Hornets roster, but it's okay.
It's okay, it's okay!
Because he doesn't have to play on the same team as his brothers. In fact, regardless of whatever his dad said in interviews, I actually sat down with Jello myself and I asked him. Here's a little bit of what he had to say. If you want to see the full interview, it's on my channel, so subscribe and go through my channel after you finish watching this one. But this is what Jello said.
Your father obviously talks a lot about having the 3 of you guys playing for the same team in the NBA. Is that something that you would look forward to, or would you just rather go to any team in the NBA and then work your way to the same team as your brothers?
I'd love to play on the same team with them, of course, but I mean, I'll take the other route too. I mean, playing with the other team by myself doesn't bother me. So as long as I just get in the NBA. But I'd love to play with him if that did happen.
Do you have a timescale in your head of making it to the G League this summer or whatever month and then making it? Do you have a goal, a set goal that you want to be in the NBA by the time you're a certain age, or are you just trying to go with the flow?
No, I got to go. I mean, I want to be in there as soon as possible, obviously. So, I mean, so I'm going to try to get to the G League, like, soon, real soon. And then hopefully next year or whatever, or a year after that, be in the NBA, get pulled up.
I know I said at the start of the video that we were going to dive into his stats from Summer League and break those down, but here's the secret. This is the breakdown that I was waiting to give you. No one cares about stats at Summer League. I just knocked something over on my table. Nobody cares about the stats at Summer League because coaches, scouts, teams, they're not checking for your stat line. They're checking for how you played the game of basketball. Everyone on Twitter wants to talk about hoopers and analytics and watching the game and eye testing. But here's what we're going to do. We're just going to watch the footage. We're going to see what he did well. We're going to see what he didn't do so well. And then we're going to come to a conclusion of whether or not we think LiAngelo Ball deserves to be on an NBA team. So let's get straight into it. So let's start off with a few of the negatives and then we'll go on to the positives. Right now, we're going to look at a couple plays that really stood out to me in terms of turnovers. As you can see on this first one here, LiAngelo Ball catches the ball on the wing as the defender's coming to close out to him. The defense is playing a little zone here, but the defender comes out to him and he takes it off the dribble and he just loses control. Now what I want to highlight here is that once he catches the ball, he doesn't rip through solidly, he goes straight to putting it on the floor. If he had ripped through properly and kind of took that first step with his right foot and then put the ball on the floor, he would have created that separation, putting his body in between him and the defender. And here you can see he's using his off arm, his right arm, to really push out and reach around to keep the defender away from him. He might have got called for an offensive foul if it was in the NBA, but he doesn't get called here. The defender tries to reach around and it ends up with him losing his handle with his left hand, and there's the turnover. After he turns the ball over as well, he tries to reach in and he ends up getting the foul on the opposition, and that's not a foul you want to be giving up in the opposition's half. You don't really need to be wasting fouls like that, so that's something to keep an eye on. On this possession here, once again attacking out of zone defense, he gets into the middle area and you can see the defender coming to help is stunting. He's put 1 foot down by the nail, and what he's trying to do is deter LiAngelo from driving. He does a great job of that. What LiAngelo needs to recognize is the defender's body has not fully shifted over. Yes, his leg is there, but his momentum is still waiting to spring back to the other side and get in the passing lane, and that's exactly what happens. LiAngelo just sees his leg get into his driving lane and he gives up the pass to his teammate. The defender reads that, picks off the pass, and away he goes. Obviously the ball goes out of bounds, but that in the NBA would be a transition bucket. What he should have been doing here is taking a spin move to his left hand and drive the other direction, or go behind the back and maybe just slow it down a little bit, wait for some off-ball movement. Now let's talk about some defense. I want to highlight a few steals that he came up with, because if he's going to be in the league, he's going to be a 3 and D player. You can't just be a 3, you have to be able to play defense as well. So let's look at some of the steals he came up with. We're not expecting him to get any crazy shot blocks, but it's all about positioning, timing, and having poise on a defensive end. So in this first clip here, you can see LiAngelo has got his man in the corner, but he's watching the play unfold, and as the big man has to go and help on the driver, because the driver's man gets beat off the dribble, the big man has to go and help. LiAngelo knows he has to slide across to the man that's waiting near the dunker spot to try and get inside and stop him. He manages to intercept the pass and he's off to the races for his team. That's great positional awareness, great team defense, and great timing. On this clip here, LiAngelo's in the corner. He's waiting for a three-pointer. He is wide open. The offense didn't see that. But anyway, there's a turnover from the Hornets. But he hustles back. He's sprinting back as fast as he can. And great things happen when you hustle and you sprint. This is what happens. He gets a deflection. That's a turnover for the Kings. And away go the Hornets. On this next possession here, the defense has got a bit of a mismatch going on because they didn't communicate properly when it came to that little screen roll action. I don't know who made the error. Was it LiAngelo or was it the big man? But the big man for the Chicago Bulls is now wide open on the post. LiAngelo recognizes this, so he's got to try and deny the pass. So he's got up there, his hands are up, he jumps, stretches up into the sky and manages to tip the ball slightly, which is just enough. That's the difference in making a play and, you know, conceding a bucket. That's the difference, and he manages to make that play, and he has good instincts in deflecting that pass. This possession here, again, He's got to deal with a big man because the defense is scrambling. The matchups are cross-matched in transition. He's got a big man rolling to the hoop. So what does he do? He fronts him because he has no way of stopping him if the big man does catch the ball in the paint. So he fronts him, manages to pick off the entry pass, and the Charlotte Hornets come again in transition. Now this one for me really stands out because it just shows pure hustle. It's not a steal, but it's just a loose ball. Look, anyone can get that. LiAngelo is the first one to it. And if you're the first one to a loose ball, great things happen for your team as the Hornets come away in transition. And look at this. The ball, obviously, Summer League is a bit chaotic. The offense isn't too smooth. The ball is bouncing around, but he gives that little touch assist, which just shows a great feel for the game. The ball's up in the air, just off his fingertips. He manages to alley-oop it to the big man on his team. Now, speaking of assists, there's just one other one I want to highlight here, where LiAngelo has the ball. He's patient because he's looking at the big man cutting to the hoop. Now, you would look at number 23 and think he's wide open, but LiAngelo sees this and he sees the defender trailing behind him, knowing that he could potentially block him from behind. So what he does, he throws a little fake, makes the defender commit because the defender can't guard two guys, and he passes it to number 22, the second player on his team, who gets the nice easy lay-in. That was great awareness, great experience. That's showing maybe some of the tips he picked up playing out in Europe, some of that experience of playing a high level basketball, doing that little pass fake for the big man to bite on and then giving it to his teammate. Now, when I talked about the stat sheet not mattering at Summer League, the coaches are looking for the intangibles, the things that don't come up on the stat sheet. So we're talking about having a feel for the game, having a basketball IQ, and doing the little things that make winning plays for your team. One of those things being offensive rebound. Being a great offensive rebounder means you have a great knack at predicting where the ball is going to go after your teammate shoots it. Now, if you haven't yet, I've got a great breakdown detailing why Dennis Rodman was such a great rebounder and 6 tips that you can take to add to your game. But let's look at LiAngelo Ball. Look at how good he is at finding and following his own misses and his teammates' misses as well. Teammates' misses. That's a bit mad. None of that, just rebounds on the basketball court, you get me? Now let's talk about his three-point shooting. That's the part you guys all wanted to see because he's going to come into the NBA if he makes it to a roster, and he will be a 3-and-D role player. We talked about the defense, now let's talk about the three-point shooting. Here's some of the best threes that he made during the Summer League. As you can see in this first clip, look at the off-ball movement, curling off 2 screens, very JJ Redick-esque, coming up at the top and cashing in that three-pointer. Moving off the ball is the biggest skill for spot-up shooters, but as you can see here, he doesn't need to move, he stays disciplined in the corner. He gets that one to go. That corner 3 is the easiest 3-point shot in the NBA, so it's something you have to be knocking down with ease on a regular basis. As you can see here, once again, he's in that same spot. He makes it, even though he's a little bit off balance, he gets it to go. He's really showed that he's a proficient 3-point shooter from behind the arc. Here in transition, the Hornets are moving the ball with pace down the court. They find LiAngelo. Don't leave him open, because that's going to be cash. Don't leave him open. Don't give him room. He showed you what he can do. Don't leave him open at all. Here you can see off the dribble slightly, he pulls up with the defender's hand in his face. He rises up and he knocks that one down. He gave the little jab step and cashed in. The Hornets seemed to be impressed by that one. Now off the dribble for real. He's coming off his right hand to screen roll, pulls up at the 3-point line. He gets the friendly roll. But, you know, if you're hot, you're hot. You get the friendly roll. There you go. Now here the defense is sucked in by the guard that's dribbling. Passes out to LiAngelo on the wing. That's cash money every single time. He was on fire, and if you can continue this and replicate this at the NBA level, you know, you're gonna get a few lucky ones too. You know, sometimes the source is just with you. If you're feeling yourself that day, gets the crowd going and all of that too. But back to the actual clips of him shooting those 3-pointers. Transition threes are such a huge part of the NBA game, as you're going to see right now. The ability to space the floor and stretch out the defense to open up the paint for your teammates. Here you can see he has to fight the tendency to cut straight to the hoop. Instead, he flares to the 3-point line. He knocks that down from the 45 and the free throw line extended. As you see here, again, in transition, catches off the hop instant into his shot mechanism. It's a fantastic shot, but can't just shoot threes. You got to have a few other things in the bag just in case. So here you can see him taking it off the dribble, taking it strong into the lane. That's not going to be a regular go-to, but sometimes if the defender's closing out hard, you've got to be able to put it on the floor. And then of course, if you've got a defender that you think smaller than you, give me that little boy. I'm going to post you up. I'm going to give you that little jump hook, that little shooter's touch around the rim. I like the offensive game that we've seen from LiAngelo Ball. He's shown that he can be a solid 3-point shooter in the Summer League. That can translate into the NBA as well, because an open 3 is an open 3. We just got to see more of that off-ball movement, not picking up scraps. We need to see more of the off-ball movement, learning those NBA offensive sets, getting into your flow and getting into your spots. And then the defense, that's the biggest part too. So for me, overall, In answer to the question, will LiAngelo Ball be on the same team as his two brothers? The answer is obviously no. Lonzo's in Chicago, LaMelo is in Charlotte, and I don't think Lonzo wants to be outshined by his little brother. He's doing well. He's playing a great role in the Chicago Bulls. If you haven't seen my DeMar DeRozan Chicago Bulls breakdown, go check that one out after you've watched this. But can LiAngelo Ball make it to an NBA roster? The answer is most definitely yes. Why? Because he's shown that he can score the three ball. And here's the thing. An NBA roster, you can be the 15th man on the roster, you can be the 12th man on the bench. You could play just garbage time minutes, and there's players in the NBA that, in my opinion, are a lot worse. We just saw Jeff Teague win an NBA championship. And these guys, they're very talented ballers, don't get me wrong. They're very talented. But in the NBA, you need guys that can come in and play a role. There's so many point guards, everyone wants to be a ball handler. You know, there's so many guys that need the ball in their hands. Sometimes you need an off-ball shooter that can come in, play a little bit of defense, and score some open threes. Why not put that money on LiAngelo Ball? Because the other thing is, it is a business. I always say this to you guys. The NBA is a business. Bringing LiAngelo Ball to your franchise will bring more fans. It will bring more revenue in ticket sales of kids that want to come and see him play, jersey sales, more media attention, more media coverage, and LeVar might just be in town making some noise as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Please subscribe if you have enjoyed this video. I'm on the road to 5K. I really want to be on the road to 10K. Road to 5K is hella embarrassing. So help me out. Subscribe to the video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, share it with a friend, and until next time, you guys know the vibes. Get buckets.